And we now have the pleasure of Winston joining us in the
Yes,
studio
we
now.
do.
Thank you for being here,
Welcome.
Winston.
Thank you. You guys set me up with that. You bringing me,
Yeah.
me in with that.
And I'm going to ask the hard question.
No, but first of all, I have to do this. The pregame show didn't let me do it. Coward didn't let me do it. I want to give a shout out to my wife, Sola, my family and friends, and the Packer Nation. They have shown all the love and support that you can have, and so I thank them for it. And the Packer Nation, all that tweet was about. It's title town. We need to bring that trophy back home, man. That was that whole tweet was all about. And so that's all I'm about. So I want to get that out there.
Okay, that's
so
fair.
fire off.
Got it.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
My question was,
Let's go.
They say that there's truth in every comment that's made. How much truth is in that
truth
comment?
Truth in every half joke. It was full joke. I felt like taking shots, and so I let me tell you something. That shot is in no way comparison to our linebacker room with Clay Matthews, and I got to deal with Clay Matthews and Nick Perry and those guys. Back in the day, A.J. Hawk, Nick Barnett, those guys used to fire off on me. I used to have to defend myself, and so, you know, Shannon, you know the banter that goes around in the locker room.
Right.
And so that's all that was. That's all that was, period, point blank.
But you understand that when you firing off in the locker room, those comments don't leave the locker room. But when you tweet something public about that guy, you know how it's going to be perceived.
Now we're switching gears.
Yeah.
Now, that tweet involving A-Rod was taken totally out of context. The next coach is going to have to coach a $140 million quarterback.
Right.
So in context, it was from you got to be able to handle the number one guy to the 53rd guy.
Right.
And I pointed Aaron out to be specific in now. I could have just made a general tweet in that the organization and all the players could have been yada. But I made it a point to say A-Rod is going to have to be the top dog all the way down to the last man on the practice squad. You're going to have to be able to coach them all. You're going to have to be able to deal with all of them. You're going to have to be able to hold them all to that Lombardi standard. We got to get back to that Lombardi standard. The issue that I had was the last 2 years we've been losing, with A-Rod, without A-Rod. And it got to my breaking point. Mark Murphy's breaking point was Arizona. My breaking point has been the last 2 years. I come from the University of Miami. And at Miami, we established a culture that changed. We were game changers. And so that's all I'm used to. Now, I've had ups and downs in my career as a player, had ups and downs in my careers as a coach. But the bottom line is there's still passion and a burning desire to me. I hate losing. I hate losing more than I love winning. And so that's what that whole tweet was about. It's about, hey, the next coach is going to have to come in there and be able to take charge of Aaron, take charge of the personnel department, take charge of the defense, offense, special teams.
Is Aaron easy to coach?
And of course he is. Of course he is. And I want to put something to bed here. There's been so much speculation about the rift between McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. There is none. Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame coach, a Hall of Fame player. Mike McCarthy has had a great run in Green Bay. We didn't get it done this year as a team. And as a team, when you don't win, you get fired. Coaches get fired. Players get fired. You don't get it done, you end up getting, hey, you got to go. I'll give you a story. I'm in New Orleans. This is 2005. We go through Hurricane Katrina. We went 3-13. You thought we would get a pass. Oh, they went through the worst catastrophe in New Orleans history. You think we'll get a pass? 3-13. No, you guys got to go. You got to go. So the bottom line in this league is winning. And you have got to be a tough guy, tough person, tough-minded. Your mindset has got to be on to be able to handle the NFL. Point blank. Right. You've got to be a tough guy, period.
So, what I've always respected about you is you have always spoken your mind. And it sounded like, from what I read, you spoke it so much that they wouldn't let you speak to the media this year on your weekly availability, right? Didn't they have you back off that?
No, that was a little bit on both ends because that's a totally different deal. I was a little disgusted with the media based upon how the way they were treating my players, how the way the whole season went down. I asked some of the media a question about they jumped the gun and they had me fired. And so that riled me up. Throughout the whole offseason, they were taking shots at my group, and I wasn't having it. And so when we got into the offseason program and I had a couple chances to talk to them, I kind of let them have it. And so we came back in the training camp, and they said, "Hey, listen, you got a chance to talk to these guys. If you're not going to clean your act up and play nice, we're going to have to ask you to, you know." And I said, "I can't promise you that." So with that business, because I wanted to speak my mind, and they wanted it more to be PC, be candid and not candid, have canned answers and do that. That's not me. That's not me.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you how it is.
Tell me how this is. This man and I go back and forth about Aaron Rodgers. I'm a fan, but he's a super fan. He says he's the greatest quarterback ever. He's transcendent, the greatest thrower of the football ever. And I say, show me something. Show me results. Because you did win one Super Bowl, but it was it was 8 years ago. And since then, Aaron is 5-6 in the postseason. I can show you the 5 wins, and they were a little bit, dare I say, tainted. They weren't high-quality wins to me over Joe Webb or Kirk Cousins. I can keep going on all of them. The Dez Bryant catch game, the giant boat trip game at Lambeau, and then Mason Crossbar makes those 2 field goals at Dallas from 56 and 51, but I'll leave that be. So I look at this year, and he argues this man has thrown 23 touchdowns to 1 interception. But the big number is 5, 7, and 1. And that's the number that ate at you, right? Because that's not good enough. If you're that guy, you can't be 5, 7, and 1, no matter how many other deficiencies your team has. And Aaron has now shattered the all-time record for throwaways. He will just, if he doesn't love what he sees, he lets go of the football sideways, okay? And his completion percentage ranks 25th in the NFL. Yards per attempt, he's 19th in the NFL. These are the numbers that scream at me, wait a second, what's going on here? Those all contribute to 5, 7, and 1. So Aaron has to take he's playing the most important position. He has to take the bulk of the blame. Is that fair for what happened this year?
Shannon, we got to stick together, brother.
Yep. Here we go.
You know what I'm talking about.
We got to stick together, brother.
AFC West, we go way back. Seattle and the Raiders.
It's not about the stats. It's not about the stats. It's about brotherhood, camaraderie. It's about complementary. It's about the offense feeding off the defense feeding off the offense, and defense feeding off the special teams. So throw those stats out the window. You can have interceptions and you can have touchdowns, but it all depends on momentum.
Yep.
When it's thrown in the game, how it's thrown in the game. When the defense makes a stop, when the defense is giving, and you got to be able to feed off each other, and that goes down to brotherhood. If you're tight in that locker room and you have each other's back, then you guys pick up for one another, some way, somehow. You take Baltimore Ravens, right? And the year they won that Super Bowl, and so you take it and say to yourself, they shouldn't have won it, but that defense picked up for the offense and the special teams and whatnot. Were you on that team?
I was.
And you were on that team. And so
Which one are we talking about?
2000. So we totally understand
Okay. All right.
where you pick it up. But then again, you can flip the switch. You can go Brady. Brady, in the Super Bowls they've won lately, Brady has been able to exemplify how you can win with a defense that gives up yards, and sometimes points. But in this past Super Bowl, when they beat Atlanta,
Yes, 2 Super Bowls ago.
and so 2 Super Bowls ago, a defensive player makes a great play. I want to say the linebacker. Makes a great
Hightower.
play.
He did.
Hightower makes a great play, game-changing play.
It did.
In our game in 2010, Clay Matthews, game-changing fumble. And so you need those type of plays in key moments of the game. You can debate this forever. In the National Football League, the game always comes down to 4 or 5 plays.
Yep.
And who's going to make those 4 or 5 plays determines the game, because the skill level is so even to where that's the bottom line. That's what it comes down to.
So even our guy, Greg Jennings, has sat in that seat and said Aaron can be a little difficult because he can be a little bit aloof sometimes and a little bit little arrogant with he's quick to blame receivers for running the wrong route. Does that not affect the locker room a little bit?
Did Peyton Manning not jump on his receivers? Did Elway jump on his receivers? Does Tom Brady jump on his receivers?
Not as much. Show them up?
The bottom line is all great players. Over here, this and I know we played against each other, and we talk so much trash. Arrogant players. We bring it because it brings out an energy in you. If I talk to you, Holly, and you gonna bring it back to me, I'm gonna elevate your game. You're gonna elevate my game.
I'll bring it back.
That's how the way it works. You're gonna bring it back to me.
So you're saying that's a necessary evil of being a professional athlete, is that the great players demand greatness from the players around them,
And they bring them up.
Okay.
They bring them up.
So
you must have a competitive environment, a competitive spirit. Are you gonna tell me Ray Lewis wasn't a factor?
Sure.
Are you gonna tell me? You can't tell me Tom Brady's a factor. You can't tell me Drew Brees isn't a factor.
Okay.
With his passion. You undeniable.
Okay.
Undisputed.
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 Better quarterback.
Come on now.
Better quarterback, Brady or Rodgers, right now. Better quarterback.
Rodgers is a more talented quarterback, by far none. I've been with the Packers for 13 years, and I've seen Aaron Rodgers make some unbelievable throws.
But
Tom Brady, I would say, to completely answer your question, and Packer Nation, don't kill me on this. Brady and Belichick has been able to manage games in which they have stolen games. They have stole games based upon the managing of games, the managing of offensive schemes, and in complementary.
You're the master of situations.
To play defense along with that. And so they've done a great job of that. And so that has resulted in them winning, 5 out of the last 10 Super Bowls? So.
Brady and Belichick.
Winston, thank you so much, Winston, for being with us. Welcome to Undisputed. Come back anytime, please.
Appreciate it, boss.
Way to go.
All right, we're back after this.
Good deal. Appreciate it.